And let me move my slide. By the way, thank you again, because this is a very collaborative partnership. This is our program. So it's all of our programs. So I do appreciate you being here this evening.
Very good.
So what I was trying to do this time in being a better steward of communication, because I know all of us have very, very busy schedules, I thought this format I would try would be to keep brief 30-minute update meetings monthly. And of course, if anyone has any topic they want to include as far as agenda items, feel free to send those to me, and then I will make sure those are included as topics during the 30-minute meetings. But then I would communicate, other things like I had before via email in between. But just so we have this person-to-person time, I wanted to get back on track for monthly 30-minute updates for the faculty. So we'll see how this works, and hopefully, hopefully it'll work well. I'm going to, that's why I was so concentrating so much on the recording, Vernon, because I want to try to record these so that those that can attend, I will make this available as well.
Very good.
So we're going to, for our agenda this evening, we're going to do a quick program update. I'm going to talk quickly about the concurrent enrollment program, which we call CEP. So you'll hear that term CEP. And then we're going to just review some important policies again. I think since it's a new academic fiscal year, again, that started in July, I thought, what a better, way to start out the new year, new academic year, by just going over a couple of relevant policies again so that we're all on the same page and we're consistent. And then we'll adjourn, and the next meeting is scheduled for September 8th. It's a Thursday at 6:30 Central Time.
Okay.
So what's going on? So to update you just broadly about the program, we now have 5 graduates from the RN to BSN program. 2 graduated, well, they went through the commencement ceremony in May in Ottawa. They actually completed the program in December 2015 and graduated in May through the ceremony. So we have 5.
Very good.
Student-wise, look how we've gone up. We have 62 current RN to BSN students with more expected. I actually have a couple more just that came through in the last 24 hours to approve for a fall start. Now, our fall start starts in a few weeks, August 22nd. So I expect more applications to come. But we're looking at 62 currently enrolled students. Now, the CEP program, which is the concurrent enrollment program that I mentioned in the last slide, we have 14 accepted, and they start in August. And I'll talk a little bit more about that program here just in a few minutes. And then 2 students finish the program after this term. So in a few weeks, we'll have 2 additional students that have completed the program. So that's awesome for them.
Very good.
Program updates continued. Just so you have a breakdown of the demographics, because I think it's always interesting to know geographically where these students are coming from. Gives you just an idea as an instructor as well. We have 3 students from the RN to BSN, well, are in the RN to BSN program from Arizona. 14 of them are in the concurrent enrollment program in Arizona, and I mentioned speaking about that here shortly. 1 from Indiana, 33 from Kansas, 1 from Maine, 1 from Maryland, 10 from Missouri, 1 from Texas, 12 from Wisconsin. Now, if you remember, we do have on-campus or on-ground sites in Arizona, Kansas, Wisconsin, and Indiana. So obviously, you see where with the exception of Indiana, we would love to have more students from that area because we have an on-ground campus there, but you can see where the on-ground campuses are located, where most geographically those students are coming from. So obviously in the greater Kansas City area, including Missouri and Kansas, we have a significant amount, but we're continuing to grow in other areas as well. Wisconsin, where we have a on-ground campus in Brooksfield, which is a suburb of Milwaukee, we're definitely making some grounds there. We are attracting more students in that area. RN experience. So we have, just a vast amount of differences in RN experience, working experience. We're getting more and more students graduating right from their associate degree program, going right into the program, to our program, RN to BSN. So very newly graduated and licensed RNs through 30 plus years experience. So it's fascinating. It's really, it's wonderful to see that vast array of RN experience, because I think it's, even the new grads, obviously they have a lot to add to, the discussion as well, just from their experience, just coming out of their RN clinicals, as well as we know the experienced registered nurses do, obviously. The ones that have been in the industry for a while, a lot of times are managers. I'm noticing that are being, with a lack of a better word, kind of slightly pushed to go back and complete their BSN. Now that you're seeing more of that focus with the IOM and with our future of nursing, that we're wanting the 80% by 2020 nurses. So you're seeing the hospitals and the healthcare organizations slightly encourage their managers to go back now and complete their BSN as well.
I recall getting those slight encouraging conversations.
You did, yeah. You're definitely seeing, and even interestingly, Vernon, some of these managers who have been RNs for a long time have perhaps bachelor's or even master's in business, but so they're coming in with just a lot of higher ed upper division credits, but they're being asked to go back and complete their BSN. So it's interesting. Obviously, they have a lot to contribute to the discussion for the students in the program. All students are in good standing. That's something I like to see. We have some pretty good students, and their GPAs are just, a lot of them are just outstanding candidates when they come in with their applications to the program. So I've been mentioning this concurrent enrollment program. So what is that? So you'll hear the acronym CEP. And what this is we've partnered with the Maricopa County Community College School District in Maricopa County, Arizona. That's, of course, where Phoenix is located. And Maricopa Community College is a large community college system. I don't know if you're familiar with the Phoenix area, Vernon, but it's a very large community college system in Arizona and Phoenix. They have, actually, I think it's 12 on-ground community college sites within this system, 8 of which have nursing programs. Okay, and they have the associate degree nursing programs at 8 of the 12 Maricopa campuses. And as you might, remember, or if you've been to Phoenix before, that city is just so spread out, with so many different suburbs. So I have actually a list of the actual Maricopa college names there. You'll see there under their logo that have the nursing programs in that community college school district. So what we've done is we've had an opportunity to partner with their nursing programs, their associate degree nursing programs, and offer our BSN online program concurrently with their associate degree nursing program to those students. It kind of is a new model, actually, in nursing for students to have that option to be dually enrolled in an associate's degree nursing program and in an online BSN program at the same time. Not too many models exist currently. I will say that within Greater Kansas City in this area, KU is looking at that. It has done that with a pilot program with Kansas City, Kansas Community College's nursing program, and I believe it looks like they're going to expand that to include some more community colleges within Kansas, including Johnson County Community College, Neosho County Community College. So the word is starting to spread, but in Arizona, where we have an on-ground campus, if you remember, Ottawa University has a Phoenix adult site campus located there in Phoenix, Surprise, and Queens Creek, Arizona. So we've had a presence in Phoenix for like over 40 years, and we've had this relationship with Maricopa for a while as well, just the college in general, just the university in general. So we were approached by Maricopa's nursing program to consider this partnership with the concurrent enrollment. And Maricopa has been one of the community colleges that has kind of led the way for a lot of this concurrent enrollment in the United States. They actually began concurrently enrolling nursing students with partner universities in 2011. They have partnered with Northern Arizona University, Arizona State, Grand Canyon, Phoenix, University of Phoenix, Franklin Pierce, Upper Iowa University, and they've been partnering with these universities for the specific nursing program for 5 years now. And we were approached about 2.5 years ago to consider this. And after we obtained our CCNE accreditation, the talks started to move forward. And so we've decided to join them as another partner university. We will be the 6th university that partners with their nursing program. We offer we have a very competitive edge. Our tuition is very competitive compared to their other university partners. So I could see this growing. I will tell you a little bit about Maricopa's nursing program in general. As you can see, Chandler, Gilbert, Estrella, Mountain, Gateway, Glendale, Mesa, Paradise Valley, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Those are where those community colleges are located with the associate degree nursing programs. They actually have over 3,100 nursing students actively in their program, in their program, to include all 8 of those locations. And what they're saying now is over 51% of those 3,100 nursing students are choosing the concurrent enrollment route.
Very good.
So it's now we have these students going through a very stringent application process. They have to be approved on Maricopa's side. They have to go through our approval on our side into our program. We were able to accept 14 students starting out, and I mentioned that on that previous slide, for the Pioneer program, for the start of this program for Ottawa University, and they will begin fall 1. So they will begin August 22nd with Ottawa University.
Okay.
What happens is they start There's going to be 2 entry cycles per year. We mimic our entry points into the program with Maricopa's entry points into their program. So there's a fall start and there's a spring start in Maricopa's nursing program. So we've mirrored that. But as a caveat, the students start out on our side of the program for the first 2 terms, just solely with Ottawa University, and then they go into Maricopa's nursing program in the next semester and then continue to take our courses concurrently until they graduate. They can actually complete their AAS, their Associates of Applied Science in Nursing, and their BSN with us at the same time, or within a couple of terms from their graduation from Maricopa. So it's a year-round program. It's very competitive, and it's very rigorous. These students are taking courses from both institutions at the same time, year-round, and they basically are very, very much full-time students year-round for it's about a little over 2 years. Not quite, 2.5. There's a very lockstep pathway. So they have their courses laid out for them between both of our programs. So I'll send that to you as well. I forgot to include that on this slide, just so you can kind of see what their curriculum pathway looks like.
Okay.
So it's very exciting. It's very exciting that we have this other option for this particular student for our BSN online program. This is really, you have to look at it as a separate program. These are not the same students, obviously, that are in our RN to BSN program. We spoke about those students that are licensed, some that have been practicing for many, many years. Obviously, these students are pre-licensure students.
Right.
So we have had to tweak a little bit of our curriculum to speak to those students. And, just thinking, it's saying my internet is unstable. Are you still hearing me okay, Vernon?
I am.
Okay, good. And it's just, we're going to have to just be a little bit more patient with these students, obviously, because they are pre-licensure students. They will be in a separate cohort. So they're in their own cohort, separate from the RN to BSN program.
Okay.
So, obviously, this is a pilot program, and your feedback as faculty that will be teaching in this program will be very helpful for me as well as we continue to tweak it. So, think of any questions that you might have. I have my timer on. I'm trying to keep to my time commitment, my format, Vernon. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me, and I'll send you that pathway so that you can see that pathway of their curriculum.
Very good. I will.
That's a picture of our students, by the way,
in
the concurrent program. I was there a couple weeks ago and was able to have them all together. We did an orientation and we took a picture. So those are our students in this program. Very bright, very sophisticated. Most of them already have other bachelor's degrees. These are second career students. Very motivated.
Very good.
One thing that I wanted to add, and I know we're getting close on time, is, again, talking about the policies. This is a new year, and I just wanted to reiterate a couple things. As you may remember, on your faculty tab in the Ottawa University portal, there are your faculty handbooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I pointed that out here on the screen where you can find those. Obviously, in the faculty tab, and it says faculty handbooks, and that's where our handbook is located. Either electronically, you can read it, or you can pull up the PDF.
Okay.
One thing a couple things I wanted to stress tonight. The biggest things that I see sometimes as comments from students really have to do with the response from the faculty. So they say, I haven't heard from the faculty on this question, or perhaps my paper hasn't been graded yet. I'm wondering. So I thought I would go over our policy on faculty responses again for the university. And this is for all of the online and adult sites. It's not just nursing. And this policy is found in the faculty handbook. Responding to inquiries from students. Again, remember best practice and what Ottawa considers to be standard of practice here is responding within 24 hours with a maximum time limit of 48 hours. So if a student is emailing or even looking, remembering to look, and I've been guilty of this as well as an instructor. I forget sometimes to look on the is it Ottawa Cafe? It's within the discussion board. There is that cafe, that student, I can't remember if it's student cafe, I can't remember the term of it now, but it's within your discussion thread where they can post just, the students can just post just general questions. And sometimes I forget to look there myself as an instructor. So just kind of getting into the habit of looking there as well as an instructor, and then obviously in the email to respond back to the students. And I took this just as a screenshot right out of the handbook, obviously. Grading, remember that within 1 week of receiving the work from the students, that's the standard of practice, the expectation of the university to get the graded work back to the students. And you can read this for yourself. If some, unusual circumstance arises, just communication. It's always communication, communicating back to the students, hey, ran into some, difficulties with my personal schedule this week or whatever, and the papers are going to be a couple days late, just so the students don't get anxious about that. It's just that always communication.
Right.
Just a reminder on that. The other one is the syllabus. When we look at the syllabus, as you remember, the policies are stated there in the syllabus, and the students obviously read this because they're expected to. I circled there, this is something that's, of course, directed toward the student, but we should remember that as role models, we need to abide by these policies as well. And so we're responsible, too, for reading and understanding the policies, so that's why I circled that. And then one thing that we need to be very consistent of as a team is that we're following that late submission policy. Again, this is found in the syllabus, and the syllabi are all standard where they have these policies stated.
Mm-hmm.
With instructor approval, assignments may be accepted for up to 1 week after the due date, but a minimum automatic deduction of 10%. And then it says you are given the option of increasing that deduction to 20%. And then, keeping in mind that on rare occasions, an extension may be allowed without a deduction, but that's the sole discretion of the instructor. Obviously, it does state that. I think the biggest thing that I wanted to point out is that last paragraph, though, no assignments. Oh, well, I should talk about the middle paragraph as well, the second paragraph about the discussion boards, that, we do not accept that where we do not give credit for the discussion board postings after the due date. Okay. That one, of course, but the last paragraph, no assignments will be accepted after the last day of the course unless arrangements have been made and approved with the instructor at least 1 week in advance. So if the student, life happens, if they have something come up, as long as they're communicating that with you, then of course we would make that exception. But I'm just reiterating these policies so that we're all on the same page, because one thing I don't want to happen is for, one instructor to, how that is with students. It's just like being a parent. Well, I heard you let that student, and so it's that whole thing that we want to all be together and be consistent so that we can not get into that kind of blame game, because who wants to play that?
Even though I have not had this issue, when I do interact with the students, I do my best to document and include the documentation in the explanation on my rationale on why I might extend something or why I might increase the penalty.
Absolutely.
That has never been a problem with the students.
Absolutely, and I'm totally. I applaud you for that, because that's again, and these are all adult students, so you would think you wouldn't have to run into this, but I think when there's more communication, the more communication, the better. So Vernon, that's excellent. Saying, okay, this is the situation right now. And, as long as you're making those announcements and communicating, there shouldn't be any problem. And that's probably why you haven't had, any problems, because of that communication.
Well, the students have just been so motivated to where it's really been a blessing, to have the students that I work with. I mean, I'm just so pleased.
That's wonderful. And for the most part, I will tell you, I hardly get any students making any comments whatsoever. So I think, and I think that everyone's doing a great job, and I just want to make sure we continue this, because I'll tell you, as we get more students, Vernon, that's probably, that could happen. So that's why I want to make sure we continue to stay on the same page, because it's easy. It's going to, I think it's going to get more challenging when we have more, I say patience. We have more students, right? Because then, it becomes more challenging to communicate, So, yeah, but for the most part, I think everybody's doing an excellent job, and it hasn't really been an issue. So that's why I want to continue, staying on that track. The other thing is APA, and that's why I sent that out to you, that PowerPoint, so that you could see what I had presented to the students that were able to attend that complimentary informational session, which I'm trying to do more of for our students, because I'll tell you what I'm finding, and it was interesting to have this these informational sessions. Well, the one I did where students showed up, because one of the comments from one of the students was actually, I've only written a couple research papers in my whole college career. And they were a new student to the program, coming from an associate degree program. And I think what's happening, and it's without fault to our community colleges, but they are being so pressed now on clinical time, and some of them have been asked to cut hours out of their curriculum. So they're trying to get all the clinical time in to meet the board specifications, but yet please, the college, administration, that sometimes they may not be able to spend a lot of time on research, papers, writing skills, APA formatting as much as they'd like. So I'm finding that the students are coming in still a little weak, and I don't know what your take has been on that, Vernon, but I've heard that from the other instructors, that there's still challenges with the APA formatting. So I think, again, it's just taking the time to look through their papers and give them the recommendations, the corrections that are needed to help them improve.
Probably one of the biggest challenges that I've seen was getting students to move from an MLA format to APA format. Other than that, there are the basic introduction, body, and conclusion concerns that sometimes pop up. But for the most part, it's just getting them to make that shift.
Right. You're right. They could be, using that format in their community college setting. So this is a whole another style, a different style for them. So they're trying to learn that. Mm-hmm. So, it's a learning process. Obviously, we don't want to set them up for failure, as they move on from our program and consider going on to a graduate program, especially as we know in the graduate nursing programs, they can be really sticklers on APA formatting. So we definitely want to have them, definitely get them on board and feel comfortable. So that's obviously what we want to do. And I think, I see this more. It's interesting because I talked to some of the other instructors in other programs, and, I don't know if it's just nursing. I'm wondering if it's just us, maybe not. But it seems like, we are we concentrate heavily on APA formatting. We have that history maybe of concentrating on it more so in our program than maybe some other programs in different industries. So obviously that's my goal, is to make them feel more comfortable so that we can prepare them for graduate school in some of those nursing programs out there that are pretty hard with APA. So just remembering that so that we're all consistent on the same page and, making the corrections as needed. That was my point of that. And again, I sent that PowerPoint to you, because I sent it to all the students for a resource. And that's it. So I am going to conclude the meeting. The next meeting will be September 8th at 6:30 Central Time. Vernon, do you have any questions that I can address with you while we're still recording?
I know I have a class coming up, and do I need explicit permission from you to include a copy of that PowerPoint when I'm discussing?
No, you do not. You may use it freely, and I will say that across the board to all of the faculty. Feel free to use that as you wish, and if it's helpful, and a helpful tool for you in your course.
Very good. I have no other questions.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do now, Vernon, I'm going to stop recording.